Good evening, friends and family, and thank you for coming to another night with Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities behind Black business. And we have another wonderful gem that we have discovered here in Chicago, because we have a lot of Black businesses here in Chicago, and we're about supporting our Black business. And this is um, Black Luxe Candle Company. And our proprietors here are Brittany and Julius. And I had the honor of meeting them at the Kwanzaa event that was held at the Conrad World Center uh, at this past Kwanzaa event in ending in 2024 and going into 2025. And it was a wonderful event that was attended by a lot of young people. So I was really happy to hear that. And so I want to thank the two of you for taking time to come out and be with us tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. And as we let you know every week, we are a private foundation and we are working to enhance the awareness and support of Black businesses. And it's important that we support our businesses because our businesses help us to circulate dollars in the community. Our businesses provide entrepreneurial opportunities for other Black businesses. Our Black businesses are more likely to hire people from the community, and are more likely to support our causes, and just like with many other ethnic groups. And so it's important that we support our Black business, and that is what Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities is all about. And that is why we bring this podcast to you every Wednesday night and have been pretty consistent with being able to feature a new Black business every week. And as you also know, we are proponents of our Black owned bookstores. And we once had 22 Black bookstores here in the Chicago area. Julius and Brittany, I'm not sure if you were aware of that. And we lost many of those bookstores, but there is a resurgence of Black bookstores in our community. And we do have more people who read than people think. And so we feature a Black bookstore on our website every month. And so this month it is The Book Joint. Now, The Book Joint was in Boxville over on 51st Street, where there were a number of little small businesses that were in little trailers, a really cute little setup there. And they had a nice little bookstore in there. But they have moved on and they now have a new location at 6900 South Stony Island. And I had the opportunity to visit it. It's very nice. It's very quaint. It's very cozy. They have some wonderful reads in there. They're going to be adding on a coffee shop, tea shop, kind of snack bar along with it. And the one thing that I like about the Book Joint is they really reach out to the community. They've had Saturday reads for the children with breakfast. They have an ongoing book club. They have supported some authors. Had special events for certain authors at their bookstore. So they're not just a bookstore sitting there selling books. They are definitely involved in the community, and we want you to support the book joint. Like I said, they have moved to 69th and Stony Island. Wonderful books for children, wonderful books for adults. They've got some t-shirts, they've got some candles in there, and some other little products, but they're a very nice bookstore. And we also do a book giveaway every month. And so the book that we're giving away this month is called Back of the Hiring Line. And this is by Roy Beck. And it's a 200-year history of immigration surges, employer bias, and depression of Black wealth. So it's an interesting read. And if you want to win a copy of this book, all you have to do is subscribe to our website at rrgbc.org, and you can become eligible to win this book. We have a winner every month, and we give some great books away. We pay for the book and we pay for the shipping. All we ask is that you read the book and share the knowledge that you gain from these books and have conversations with other people. We feel that where your mind is, that is where you will be. And so we need to be reading and we need to be having critical thinking types of discussions with one another. And so that's why we support our bookstores. And we also have a public policy piece on the table. We want our Black owned bookstores to get contracts with our local schools. So please go to Save Black Bookstores in Chicago at change.org. That's Save Black Bookstores in Chicago at change.org. Sign our petition. We're trying to get 1,000 signatures. We have about 700 signatures now. And we just need to get a few more signatures so we can start working on this and taking this to some of our local officials to let them know how serious we are about that. And then finally, we are great supporters of the Southside Community Federal Credit Union that is located at 55th and Wentworth. Now, this financial institution has been in our community for over 20 years, giving out loans and having weekly financial literacy classes for people in the community. They have a lot of good products. They've got some alternative products for payday loans. Those of you that are going and paying these high interest payday loan rates, you can get a better deal at the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. They've got car loans, they've got home loans, they have personal loans, and they try to work with you. They're interested in not only in you getting loans from their banks, but they're interested in your financial stability because they're interested in the community. So please support the Southside Community Federal Credit Union. And then you can go to our website. You can make donations to help our cause and purchase from our online store, which helps us to do the work that we're doing. Okay, so let's get on with our discussion with our guest tonight. Again, we have Brittany and Julius from Black Luxe Candle Company, and they are located at 1252 North Milwaukee. They're here in Chicago. They have a wonderful website. If you go to their website at blackluxcandles.com, you can see all of the wonderful candles that they have. So, and they also have an array of classes and accessories. So, we're going to talk about Julius and Brittany, get to know them a little better, get to know more about their company, talk about candles and these scents and the impact that they can have on our quality of life. And so this is a very important business in our community. So I would like to, I don't know which one of you want to start, but I would like for you to introduce yourselves and let us know who you are. Are you natives of Chicago? Or you come from another city? So let's start out like that.
Let you start off.
Go ahead and get started.
You gonna let me start?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Nothing.
Hey guys, I'm Brittany, and this is my husband Julius, and we're Team Black Luxe Candles. Okay. Anything you want to add before I jump into it?
I mean, just appreciate it being getting the opportunity to be here and share a bit of who we are and what we do with the audience and community at large.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like I'm always asked like Brittany, why did you choose to get into candles? What was the motivation for candles? Why did you choose to get into business? And I always tell people this one thing, okay? I say I did not choose this candle life. This candle life chose me, okay? And I always explain what that means. So we've been in business now for almost 6 years. But back before I thought about having a business, it was December of 2018. And it was around Christmas time. And I was like, okay, I need to make some gifts because I'm not purchasing any gifts. You just guys are going to get what I made, okay? And it just so happened to be candles. At the time, I was really, really, really into self care. I was like, in my mantra, like I gotta feel good in my zen. So I wanted to provide that to others. So I had made a little candle, got a little bottle of wine and a coloring book, and I packaged it all up as a little self-care kit and then gave it away for Christmas. Well, after Christmas, people came back to me and was like, hey, are you gonna sell those candles that you had made? And I was like, no. Then someone was like, hey, are you gonna sell those candles that you had made? And I was like, no. But then someone else that came back to me was like, hey, would you teach me how to make candles? And I was like, I don't know how to make candles. I just got a kit from the Amazon and created the candles. But it got me to thinking maybe there's something to this. Maybe I should think about it because at that time I was working in corporate. I always tell people my background. My background is in marketing, and at the time, I was doing marketing for real estate. So I always have to let people know that. And since I was working in corporate, I was like, maybe I can like do my own little business and test some stuff out, do it my own way. Because in corporate, they don't give you too much creative flexibility. So
Okay.
I was like, okay, this would be my opportunity. So in January of 2019, Black Lux was born. So we were officially launched in January of 2019. But this is the thing. I decided to create this business and I still had to figure out how to make a candle. Okay. So I had a
Oh, yeah.
candle business before actually knowing how to make a candle. So I went and
So
purchased
let me
all.
ask you, Brittany. Brittany, let me ask you this. Did you, with
Uh,
those gifts that you made, did you make the candle or you purchased the candles and gave them away?
No, I made those candles. I
You
just
made
used the
them? Okay.
kit. Yeah, yes,
Okay.
I made them, but it just came from a kit. So everything was included. So I didn't have to do any thinking, like as far as like how to do like the ratios, choose the wick, and do things like that. It was already set and created. But when you create, like when you start from scratch, okay, now you want to start selling these candles on your own without a kit. You have to figure out how to make your own ratios, use your own wax, your own wicks, and see what works best. So I did a little research and I was like, okay, I'm gonna pick this wick, I'm gonna pick this wax, and I'm gonna just test this out. So I made this candle. Okay, I made this candle, right? And it was so pretty. And I lit it. And guess what? Mm, it didn't have a scent. Mm.
Okay.
So my very first candle that I made out on my own didn't have a scent. So Julius here is well, he was a CPS teacher and he's like really into math and science. Okay. So Julius is all really, really big into math. I was like, Drew, I think you with someone that may not understand how to do math because I'm trying to put this little ratio together and it's not working. So I where you go?
I gotta get
Yeah,
that.
Julia said this.
I'm sorry. I went to him and said, Drew, I'm trying to put this ratio together. And he was like, okay. So he took the ratio that I was trying to put together. It actually put some real numbers behind it. Okay. So we tested his ratio for the wax and fragrance oil and such. And guess what happened? We had a scent. Okay. So
Wow.
we learned how to make a candle that day. But one of the things that I understood was because since my background is in marketing and helping real estate agents sell homes and such, and
Mm-hmm.
then even further, my degree is in advertising art direction. So I had a lot of experience in
Mm-hmm.
graphics and also marketing materials. I understood that you just like all because you created a business does not mean that people will automatically buy from you. Okay. I knew
Okay.
this. So I had to come up with a plan of action to get people to actually purchase. I talked to Julius and said, "Oh my gosh, I'm like really committed to this business now because I spent like $200 on this business. This is like real deal serious to me." Okay. I said, I have one goal. My one goal is to make $100. Okay. And Julius, being the math person that he is, he's like, okay. He's like, this is what we can do. We talked about this. We strategized. We thought
Mm-hmm.
about it. It says, so most people, they have like $20, okay, and they'll be willing to spend their $20 and say, hey, you know what? I don't really like it, but it's just $20, so I didn't waste my money. So when I was like, okay, people got $20. I have these little 4 ounce candles, and then I'm like, what I can do? I gotta make it catchy for people. So we had three for 20, and Julius was like, hey, you only have to sell 5 of those 3 for 20s. And I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. I think I could actually make that a tangible goal.
Now,
So
what size were your candles? You're selling 3 for 20. What size were
they were
those?
4 ounce tin cans. I don't think I have one here with me right now.
Okay.
Go
um
grab one.
but they were 4 ounce tin cans. This is what we started with. Julie's trying to find one now.
Okay.
um but there was 4 ounce, a little small size. But it was three of them, and you could choose like a variety of scents because I figured people, like, if anything, they have choice, so they can
Mm-hmm.
actually choose what they want. Okay.
Okay.
So that was my strategy. My strategy was to lead with the 3 for 20 and go from there. So, social media has been a really big part of why the business has grown. And I'm like really big on Facebook myself. So I was showing my progress about like creating this business and creating the candles. And I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I actually have to launch this business officially. I even though the business, like technically, the idea for it kind of started in January, I didn't officially launch until April of 2019. Okay, so I started with a pre-launch sale. 3 for 20 was the goal. My goal was to make $100, right? So with that, I launched the sale, and in the pre-order sales, we sold $900 worth of candles. And I was like, oh my God,
Now,
it's something to.
was this with your friends on Facebook? Did you
My
say, well, basically with your
friends,
friends on
family,
Facebook?
and then at the time, I was also going to the gym, and kickboxing, and I had like where a lot of the things I did was I involved the people. So the people at kickboxing, I would bring the candles and we would burn them there, and then they would get to be my testers. So they were
Mm-hmm.
involved and committed. So Julius did went the extra step to buy get the 4 ounce tin.
Oh,
So
so
this
you
was
had
the candle that we originally started with.
three of those for $20.
Yeah, 3 for $20. That's what we started with. So that we had kicked off there. Someone had invited me to my very first vendor show. Okay, my very first vendor show was at a church in Inglewood. Do you know how much I made at my very first vendor show?
How much?
No, you want to take a guess? Just one guess?
$1,000.
Oh, that's a good guess. I love that. Thank you. No, I did not make that. Okay. I made $0. Okay.
Oh
I didn't make
no.
anything at my very first vendor show. And I was like a little upset about that. But Julius was like, hey, you know what you learned today or what you got today? I said, what did I get? What did I get? He said you gained experience. And I
There
was
you
like,
go.
dang, that's true. It's very true. I did get experience. I had never done a video show before. So,
Hmm.
with that in mind, I moved on to sign up for my very next vendor show. And my very next vendor show was at a DJing event in Dalton, Illinois. And we were in the at a field house at a park. So
Hmm.
we were inside at this vendor show. Julius was like, I was thinking, because it was free and open. It's like you could set up anywhere. I was thinking about setting up by the door, people coming in and, leaving out. But Julius was like, no, I don't think we should set up by the door. It was a little small bathroom in there. And he was like, I think we should set up by the bathroom. And I was like, by the bathroom? Why would we set up by the bathroom? However, setting up at the bathroom was extremely clever because what happened was it was two stalls in this field house. One of the stalls went down, so it was a very long line at the bathroom. Okay, we were able to burn our candles. Okay, that's something that I had learned from the very first vendor show was that sometimes people need to actually see it in action.
Sure.
So I turned on the candle. That day we made $450 or so in sales from doing the candles. So I was like super excited. I was like, okay, there's something to this. Judy, did you want to add anything to the story at this point?
Okay, because Julian has he's definitely had your back. You've got your idea, you got your candles, but Julian is coming in here. I don't know how Julian came up with even the idea that people were willing to spend $20. So Julian, where are you getting all
um,
of this? Where are you getting all these thoughts from?
Well, I like as she said, I'm an educator and I have an understanding of people as well. And in pulling those things together, I understand that like a $20 bill is like, a quarter from back in the day. It won't hurt you that much to spend a little something just to support somebody or anything like that. So just giving people the opportunity to pull together some single simple bill and use that to just support a business and get something from it, especially when they can get a deal from it by getting the 3 for 25, because the initial price for the candles were $9 each. So if they know that they're
Okay.
$9, but they get 3 for 25 or 3 for 20 at the time, then they'd be able to go ahead and say, yeah, I can do that. That's a good deal, and it won't take too much out of my pockets. So to give them an opportunity to just kind of get the feel for what it is Black Luxe has to offer without feeling like they're breaking the bank to do so. So that's
I
what gave me
think
the idea
I,
to do something that way. Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things that one of the problems that people have when they're marketing a new product is how much they're going to charge for it, so that it becomes profitable, because you gotta buy your materials, you got time, you have transportation. You're supposed to add all of your
Yeah.
costs and your expenses into it so that it becomes profitable. So
Yes.
was that part of the $20 too, where you could
That
figure out when your
everything
profit margin was going to be acceptable?
everything was part of all of that. We essentially, I went through the process of calculating all the unit rates for everything that we was putting together to put into it, like the amount for the amount of oil that goes into it and how much that costs, the amount of wax, every single part of it, every aspect, the labeling, all that. Everything went into it for us to be able to understand how much it would cost us, so we can put together a price point that would give the customer an opportunity to experience what we have without us actually taking a hit on that. That way we can continue to
Okay.
provide more for them and provide for ourselves.
Okay. So how long did you just vend before you actually, because you now have an establishment.
Yes,
Um,
yes, we do.
how long did it take? Well, tell us about that journey here, because we want to
Well,
get this
Okay,
information out to.
so I had to kind of explain a little further. I kind of explain this a little bit in detail, so I hope that's okay. Um,
Okay.
so still in 2019, come towards like near the end of 2019, I was kind of like on and off with the business, not something I was totally taking serious, just something like a little hobby business that was like something fun to
Mhm.
do. I was still working full time, so it was just something fun to do in passing. By the end of the year, my job was hosting like an artisan market, and they had invited me to come and to just kind of showcase my candles at work. Um, in that time span, we made another $400 in like 4 hours. So I was like, oh my goodness, there's something to this. And this was around the
Okay.
holiday season. I said, okay, we're coming up on 2020. Okay, this is going to be my year of magic. This is going to be my year. I can feel it. I felt it. I was like, okay, January 2020 came. I attended this what was it?
create and cultivate.
It wasn't Create and Cultivate. It was another. It was like a planning, like a business type of planning, goal planning type of event. But from
Okay.
there, from this business goal planning event that I had went to, I said, you know what, I'm going to invest more into my business because I'm about to take this business serious. Okay, so I decided to go out to California to a conference that was called Create and Cultivate. Um, from there, I was like really inspired. There was a lot of celebrities, business owners, and they were talking big money. And I was like, okay, I can feel it. I know I feel good about this. Okay, so I came back and I launched my very first collection for 2020, which was for Valentine's Day. I had invested into some new candle jars. I had invested some money into getting a video shoot for the candles as well. So I had like a whole theme for these candles. So it was kind of like my music artist. That's how I treated it. But then we started hearing all these words like COVID, shut down. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't know what COVID is. I'm not worried about that. Okay. Like, but then I started hearing it more and more by the time March came. And it was like, I got a phone call from my job and said, hey, we're just going to work from home for a couple of weeks. Okay. And then we come back to the office. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, yeah, I'm finally getting to work from home. How exciting.
Okay.
But what happened was in April of 2020, this is my 1 year anniversary for Black Lux as well. Okay. Um, in April of 2020, I got a phone call and I was like, hey, this is Brittany. And they was like, Brittany, we have unfortunate news for you. I said, well, what's wrong? I said, unfortunately, we have to lay you off. And so
Oh
I
no.
was laid off in April of 2020. Um, I was devastated because what else was going on was that I was
Mhm.
due to close on my first rental property, okay, and
Oh.
no job, no closing. I was due to
Mm.
close on my first rental property April 7th. I was laid off April 3rd. I was crying, and Julius, he was like, you know what? You can cry now, but you need to dry your eyes. You need to focus, and you need to focus on Black Lux. And I said, but, I let it out. And ever since April of 2020, I've been solely focused on Black Lux candles. Okay. I always have
Mhm.
to tell people that one part. So one of the things and one of the challenges that I understood with this business is that how do you sell candles when people can't smell them? Okay, that was the challenge. One of the things that I learned and realized is that people don't necessarily buy the product just to buy the product because they like it. They buy from people, the people they like. Okay, so what that meant is that I had to get in front of the camera and I had to be vulnerable and tell people what was going on with me. So that's what I did. I told people like, hey, I got laid off from my job and I'm focusing on this little candle business here. And this is what I got. You want to buy it? That and then everyone was going through something at that time. It was very challenging in April, May time of 2020 because of COVID. So we had decided to come up with a campaign for spring and call it self care, then share. Okay, that be
Mhm.
able to bring some self care to yourself and then also share self care with someone else. So that was our campaign. In June of 2020, there was a big push to support small Black-owned businesses, and we had already been open. Okay, someone had sent me a message on Instagram, and they had asked me. They said, "Hey, what is a wax melt?" And I had explained what a wax melt was to them. They proceeded to purchase some wax melts and candles. Um, but it was something interesting about this address. This address was weird. So I went and looked it up in Google just to make sure it wasn't being sent to somewhere crazy.
Mhm.
The package was being sent to California in Hollywood Hills. Okay, this place was massive. I had to go look on my Instagram and see who this person actually was. And it just so happened to be the mother of someone that was on Real Housewives of Orange County.
Okay.
She liked one of our candle scents, which was Palo Santo. That month, she promoted Palo Santo. We, for the first time in June, we sold $4,000 worth of candles. And what was interesting is that we did this in 2 weeks. I was like, oh my God, we made $4,000. Amazing. It got me
Okay.
to thinking next month I'm about to go for an even bigger goal, a bigger challenge. Okay. I'm about to search. We're going to do a $10,000 month. Okay. And I felt like if we were going to do a $10,000 month with these candles, it would take place in during the holiday season because that's when people are more free with their cash. Okay.
Sure. Sure.
I started to set up my plan of action of how to make this work. So people want to support small businesses, but it can't really look like a small business. It has to look it has to have like an aesthetic and an appeal that gives it more value. So
Mhm.
proceeded to get professional photography because that's something that I had to invest in since I'm not a photographer. Okay, I told Julius that we
Now,
need to.
did you know to do this because of your advertising background?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. So in my background in working with marketing with real estate agents, I worked with top producing real estate agents. So they sold $1 million properties. So I understood some of the language and the verbiage of how you have to kind of appeal to of people that's buying $1 million homes. Okay, so I took some
Okay.
of those strategies and reapplied it to my own business. Um, so we had to test the strategy though. Our both my birthday and Julia's birthday is in September. So I was like, okay, we have some opportunities here right before the holiday season to test this out. Okay, so I said I'm going to make this another $4,000 month in September. Okay, so I had launched our birthday sale, and I said, okay, this is what we're gonna do. And I had put an extra thing on there. It said, if we can make a $4,000 a month, I'm going to buy my first pallet of jars. Okay. Julius was telling me maybe it won't be a $4,000 month. Maybe it'll be a little less. Okay. But I said, no, no, no. We're going for.
I didn't say it'd be less. I said let's offset the dates because the first half of September was not necessarily going to be where the sales were going to be. It was going to be the second half of September into October. So I was saying let's say a 4 week span to make that $4,000 month between
Uh,
mid September to mid October.
we still
Okay.
disagree with this, but I told him that it was most definitely going to happen in September. September will say 4K, okay? So not only did we do $4,000 in sales, we did $6,000 in sales, okay? So I was extremely excited for this because now I was gearing up for my big month, okay? I had this conversation with myself. I said, "Self, what month should we do this?" Okay, I said if we was to do this, we probably need to do it in November. And also was thinking, okay, people love Bath and Body Works, including me, okay? And Bath and Body Works has a candle day. I said, what day is their candle day? Because whatever their candle day is, we need to have a sale before their candle day because there's no way
Okay.
we can compete with Bath and Body Works, okay, on no levels, okay. So
Yeah,
Julius
because
and I
they're
talked
usually
about
having
this.
their sales right in the middle of the holiday. I think is when they have their sales.
Yes. So their candle day sale for that year was actually gonna be December, like between December 3rd and December 10th, somewhere in that
Uh-huh.
time. And then I was like, okay, we can't do a sale on Black Friday. We are not selling TV, shoes, or clothes. We can't compete with any of those big box retailers. So we decided to actually start our own sale the week before Black Friday. Okay. And we called it our Silver Saturday sale. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
I told you, I said, this sale, when we do it, it has to be impressive. We don't really hold sales at our store. So the people we hadn't been engaging like the entire year. So we had an engaged audience. They were just looking to purchase from us at this point. And I said, this has to be a captivating sale. I said, what do we have to do to make sure we can get 75% off? Because most people will be like, 75% off. I'm going to buy
Wow, yeah,
something.
that's
Okay.
a big savings.
And you gonna say something? Oh, so 75% off. But Julius, we can't do 75% off on all of the candles. That would be crazy. Okay, so we had some candles that we needed to kind of get rid of at the time. I said we're gonna choose 4 scents. Remember, I like to give people variety. So not just one thing, but if they don't like one thing, they got three other things to choose from. So we did 75% off 4 candle scents. Okay, now the quantity is our secret. However, the push and the push and pull of this campaign was 75% off. Now we know that people were going to be at the door and they were going to want these 75% off candles, no matter what they were. Okay, but I was like, okay, we need to add something to them because that 75% off is going to go fairly quickly. So what we did, we decided to have a tiered sale. So it would be 50%, 40%, 20, and then 10%. Did I say 30? 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. Okay. So the
Okay,
early
so
you
Brittany, this is all before you have opened up your uh
Yeah.
brick and
yeah,
mortar, right?
yes.
All right.
Okay,
Let's start
so
with
you were selling, how were you selling this? Were you selling this online, or were
yes.
you
So one thing she didn't.
vending?
Yep. So one thing she didn't actually point out was the fact that because of her background in visual communication and marketing, she started this business out online. It wasn't starting out with vendor events. It started out being able to sell the products online, and she was selling
Okay.
to like friends and family at first. That's how it started with things.
Hmm.
But we continue to build that online presence and continue
Hmm.
to sell online, especially during the pandemic, because of the fact that that was the only way we could. All the vendor shows dried up. Everything when it came to in-person sales wasn't able to continue. So what we decided to do was um, build out the process of essentially telling people the story of the experience that they would have when they burn a Black Luxe candle. That way they can
Okay.
get the feel for what it is they're going to experience when they do burn that candle. That way they don't have to worry about smelling it ahead of time. They can actually read into what it is that they're going to feel. So I essentially became a copywriter at that point and started putting that together when it came to expanding into online only. So that for first 4K month and like everything that happened from like April on down was like exclusively online. So our 10K month that we were talking that she said that she wanted to
Yes,
push
this was
for, that was an
online
online
only.
only sale.
So just to kind of speed this up a little bit, but
Okay.
not only did we have a $10,000 month, we had a $12,000 month online only. Okay,
Okay.
so I was like, someone had reached out to me and said, "Hey, are you ready to stop making candles in your home?" And I was like, I don't know, maybe. But I was like, it's like I have a place out in Homewood, Illinois, that you should check out. And I just went out there and checked it out. And since I had this extra money, I decided to just kind of reinvest all the money back into Black Luxe. So at the top of 2021, I got a candle studio out in Homewood, Illinois. So in June of 2021, Julius was still a CPS teacher, and he'll tell you a bit about that, about what he decided to do.
All right. So what ended up happening, or as things were taking place during the pandemic, we were making all these candles, and like as we ended up getting this 10K month and 12K month, actually, we were happy about it. But then it was like, okay, now we got to make $12,000 worth of candles. So let's go on. We got to find a way to make this work. So we were doing it. The house was like a factory. We were putting everything together because we were operating out of the house at that time. Everything was like completely home based. And I was still teaching as well. So like on top of that, I'm teaching remote learning and everything like that. So I decided to just kind of tell the kids and show the kids about what I was doing on top of like just the general lessons that they were learning. And so I was showing them the science of candle making, like understanding like solids, liquids, gases, the wax melting, all that stuff like that. So I had the bright idea of asking them if they'd be interested in learning about entrepreneurship and financial enrichment as like a summer program. And sure enough, a handful of them said, yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I guess I got to make this program then. So I asked my 8th grade graduates because I knew they wouldn't be a part of the school and everything, so I wouldn't have to worry about any types of conflicts of interest and all that. So I got those guys, and sure enough, they were geared to go for a summer program. So I put the summer program together, and I taught. They got the opportunity to learn all the ins and outs of entrepreneurship using Black Luxe as a model, like understanding like unit rate, inventory, all of that good stuff, everything that was put together. They did so well with the program that they were able to create their own candle collection within Black Luxe called the Luxe Light Collection. And now that collection did so well that it sold out by the end of the summer. A friend of mine from high school, he was catching wind of it because we were posting and sharing online and stuff like that too. By 2021, we were able to start being in person a bit more. And he saw it and he was like, hey, I really like what you got going on. I think I have a space that might match your aesthetic. So I was like, okay, cool. Send me some pictures. Let me see it. So he sent me the pictures and I was like, well, send me the address. What address is it? And he told me the location. He said it was on 1741 North Damon. I'm like, okay, I know that area. Oh yeah, we definitely going to check that out. So, like once I recognized what the area, I remember where it was. It was like right down the street from North Avenue and Damon, 6 Points, very active area. And I said, we're definitely going to check that out because it's a new opportunity. So that's how we actually got into our first storefront location. She got to, Brittany was a little apprehensive about the idea initially because like, how are we going to afford a store? I'm already paying rent on a studio. I'm like, don't worry about that. We're going to make that happen. Don't worry. We're going to do something with this. Because what I knew was that it offered us an opportunity to open our product up to a new demographic. And because that was the case, we had basically like the world was our oyster at that point. And like because the pandemic was doing what it had been doing, a lot of businesses were shuttered and people were looking for businesses to come and fill some of those spaces too. And I knew that people were ready to come back outside. I mean, after being locked up for so long, people don't want to come outside and do something. They don't want to just keep buying stuff. They want to do something. So we came up with the idea of creating the candle making classes with our storefront location, which was actually an idea we initially had early on in Black Luxe, but it got shelved. And we just kind of left that shelved idea like right there until it was time to actually implement. And that was a perfect time to implement. She was asking like, where are we going to find workers? I don't even know. I said, don't worry about that. I take care of that too. So what I ended up doing was reaching out to my students. I asked my junior entrepreneurs if they'd be interested in being a part of Black Luxe's continued growth. And sure enough, they said, yeah, they were ready to do it. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I got the workers there. We set up our days for Thursdays through Sundays. That way she can do Thursday, Friday, and I can do Saturday, Sunday. That way I can still teach because they had us back in the buildings by that point. So that's how Black Lux got to the point where we were able to get things rolling in a physical storefront space. We were at that location for 1 full year, and we weren't actually even supposed to be there that long. It was only supposed to be a pop up. And I decided that we were going to do this pop up for the full season, the holiday season, September through January. And I put a caveat in the actual contract. I said, like, if things are going well, we can just keep it going with the price point where it is, so that we can just keep going that way. Because the building itself was actually up for sale. But
Okay.
if the building sold, then we end things at that point. But if the building is still there and we're like ready to keep going, we just keep going with what we're doing. So that actually continued to last for 1 full year, and we had to move into a new location. And we ended up moving over to 1252 North Milwaukee Avenue, and we
And that's
moved
where you
over.
are now.
Yep, that's where we are now. So we moved
Hmm.
over to that location for a couple of reasons. One of the reasons is because it gave us a chance to get further into another section of that neighborhood where there's more foot traffic. And
Okay.
a second reason was because although there was more foot traffic, the area itself was a lot less expensive than further up by North Avenue, where it was a lot more developed. So we knew that development was working its way down there. So we wanted to be
Okay.
there in that location prior to that happening, so that we can set the tone for how businesses would, conduct themselves, operate, and things like that. So we're kind of the trendsetters of that area in that
Right.
space.
Because mind you, majority of business were closed, so it wasn't many businesses open in 2021. Was it 2021? It was 2020. It
21
was by
into 22.
2022. It was still a lot of businesses that hadn't moved back into locations, but they were starting to. So
Okay.
we since our risk was higher with knowing that it was the pandemic time, we were able to secure a better deal because we took a higher risk.
Okay.
Um, but I just had to throw that in there too.
Mhm.
Well, you guys have an awesome story here about how you just started out with something so innocent, and you took it and you supported each other. Um, you believed in yourself. You took some chances. You invested. I mean, you didn't stop. You know, and you just it's a beautiful journey. Just listening to the both of you talk about what you have done and how you have built your business, and I'm sure you have even more plans for the future. And I feel that your story can be very inspiring. So there's a lot of people out here that want to start businesses, and you kind of talk yourself out of it with the things that you think you can't do. Um, but this is an awesome story. I wanted to talk more about your candles. We will get into that, but I think your journey into developing your business and you're being able to talk about that and being willing to share that information is very important. It could be very helpful to a lot of other people out here that want to be entrepreneurs.
Absolutely.
And the
Um,
fact we got a power couple here, you know, and that's
I,
very important. You guys are working together and you're supporting each other, and where you kind of might be short, Brittany, Julius is right, like he's sitting behind you right there. He's got your back, and I think that in itself is beautiful.
that's so sweet. Um, one
Absolutely,
one of the
absolutely.
things that
So,
I kind of mentioned in the story too. Julius don't usually mention it, but in 2021, I had hesitation with opening a business was because in 2021 is when I started to lose my hearing, and started going through a hearing loss. So
okay.
Julius is still full time teaching, so I'm at the store and I'm like, how am I going to run a store and I can't hear people? And he said, well, we're going to press forward. We're going to get the store anyway. So I haven't always been hard of hearing, but I'm hard of hearing now.
Okay.
And it's very much a challenge. And having a storefront and losing my hearing all at the same time, it like doubles up the stress I get. But it's definitely been a journey. So I do appreciate you mentioning that. I just wanted to share that
Absolutely.
with you.
And
Mhm.
you're determined, and that's what it takes, determination. And so that's why you have become so successful. And so when I say why, my thought is, why did they start a candle business? It's now you have told me how this all evolved. And then something I said to you earlier, maybe it was off, while we weren't on the air, but just how important candles and the scents of candles are. Candles have been people use them for ceremonies and for spiritual
Mhm.
reasons. And then when we start talking about scents, they have so much impact on our quality of life. you
Mhm.
know,
They do.
things that people are experiencing. I'd like for you to talk a little bit about that, about the impact that candles can actually have on our everyday lives.
Yeah. Well, when it comes to candles and how they can impact us, well, candles themselves, they definitely can. And fragrance candles especially can, because everyone has a fragrance that they enjoy. Everyone has a scent that they like. And when you actually light up a candle, it can change your mood. It can put you in a better mental disposition because it gives you the opportunity to experience something that you enjoy. And
Mm-hmm.
regardless of what else may be going on, there's an aspect of your mind that's enjoying what is going on when it comes to that fragrance. So when you
Mm-hmm.
activate those olfactory senses, whether you're feeling like something that's going to pick you up or you're feeling like something that you want to help relax you, you'll be able to activate those things just simply by lighting
Absolutely.
the candle and the fragrance that you enjoy.
Absolutely. And I don't, we don't, I think we kind of underestimate, like we have five senses that we basically talk about,
Hmm.
even though I know we have many more senses. And then if
Yeah.
you look at those senses, and you want to go down a rabbit hole, and let's just say our sense of smell, that we don't develop it to the extent that we could, that we have the ability to. But these scents out here, the peppermint that, like you say, picks you up, and then those other warm fragrances that relax you. I know as a child, I wake up in the morning and I smell coffee cook,
Mhm.
I even though I wasn't drinking coffee, but I smell that coffee, and then I smell maybe some biscuits cooking or whatever. And it would create a sense of warmth. It created a sense of security. Children with, people with cognitive issues, there's certain fragrances that are, scents that are good for enhancing your alertness and ability to focus.
Mm.
Um, your
Mhm.
your your dietary choices, those certain things that you smell, that makes you want to eat
Absolutely.
certain
Yes.
things.
That's one of the things that the hitting on all five senses in the store. So when
Hmm.
we opened the store, that was like kind of at the forefront of how we kind of put the whole presentation for the store together. When you come into the store, we want you to feel like it's family. Majority of the time when people come into the store, they are sometimes people can be a little standoffish, like to myself.
Hmm.
But by the time people leave, they leave as family. Okay, hugging complete strangers. It's just because we focus on it being intimate, and sense can kind of carry you on a journey. So
Hmm.
Julius here, he could talk about it a little bit more on some of his like how he takes people on the journey through at the store.
Yes. So when it comes to the experience in our storefront, the candles are not exactly the focus. The focus is more so on coming in and getting to activate an experience that you get to walk away with and keep trapped into your memories for many years to come. And it's a sense of community when you come into the space, because like I tell people that, when they come in, they may be amongst a group of strangers, but when we sit at those tables, we're all family in there. We're about to have a good time together. And although it's an intimate experience by everyone having their own individual candle fragrance that they enjoy, they're coming together and they're actually learning about each other's fragrances too. Oftentimes, when they're identifying those fragrances that they like, they share that information. And when people get to sharing, they start to feel closer to one another. So giving people the opportunity not just to just come and make a candle, but they actually come and get to like make memories and have a fun time and really feel good about what it is they're putting together, because they're actually creating something too. So giving them that chance.
This is during your candle making classes.
Yes, this is during our candle making classes. So getting the
Now,
opportunity.
people able to just walk in? Are people able to just walk in and purchase candles?
Yes, you can purchase candles in our store. We have a two-part setup where we have a retail section in the front, and then we do the candle making classes right behind that. And the candle making class situation is set up where you get to choose your vessel on our vessel wall. You get to choose your fragrances from our fragrance wall and go through the entire candle making process from beginning to end. And by the end of it all, you're walking away with your very own handcrafted Black Luxe candle. It is very hands-on, completely immersive, and you will get your hands dirty putting this together, and you'll feel good about what you put together by the time it's all done.
Now, how many fragrances do you have?
A lot. we have a lot of fragrances. I've over 20 to 30 fragrances that people can choose from. Actually, probably more than 30 even. But we have a lot of fragrances that people can choose from. Sometimes we have seasonal fragrances that come out for a period of time and then they go away for the season, that type of thing. So it really depends. It varies. And we often bring out new fragrances too, to give people an opportunity to just kind of get the feel for something new. There's something for everyone, whether you're looking for something more of a musk fragrance or more of a soft, sweet fragrance, something fruity or something candy kind of feeling, or let's say something more floral or something more therapeutic and aromatherapy, like eucalyptus or something. We got all those different types of fragrances, a wide variety to choose from, and people can even mix fragrances too. So it gives them a chance to truly create a fragrance of their own with that possibility.
Okay. I think I saw a few that kind of caught my eye. There was the, what is that, vanilla pumpkin? Because I like vanilla. I really like vanilla. And there was another, was that a buttercream?
Yeah.
A buttercream. And then another one, honey bourbon. I'm wondering.
Bourbon, yes. Now, honey bourbon, that's actually.
Yeah, like, huh?
Now, honey bourbon, that's actually a wax melt exclusive, meaning you get it as a wax melt, but it's not as a candle.
Oh, you get that as a wax melt. Okay. So you have candles and then you have wax melt.
Yes. So we have our 4-ounce tins that you may see here. These are our 4-ounce tin candles. But we also have our 3-wick candle jars. These are our 3-wick jars here. And these are much larger. They have 3 wicks in them. And they burn for like 35 to 50 hours. Okay. And then we also have other candles and wax melts and things like that. We have sets of wax melts that people can choose from. We have accessories, all types of things. You go to our website, blackluxecandles.com, and you'll be able to see all the different things that we have to offer. On top of the candle making classes, we do public classes. They're Thursdays through Sundays. We do private events. If you're looking for something like that, just reach out to us, let us know. And you can actually email us at hello@blackluxecandles.com. And you can find us on social media too. Our social media Instagram is @BlackLuxeCandles. And you can find it on TikTok and Instagram. And on Facebook, it's Black Luxe Candle Co.
Okay, so are people able to custom make their own blends? You help people create their own blends?
So they can mix their fragrances the way that they like and pull it together so that they make their very own handcrafted candle.
Okay. And like for what do you make your candles with? Because I know I've gotten candles and they say some candles have soy base, some are paraffin base, some beeswax, coconut wax. what do you know? And I know that all has an impact on how much it holds the fragrance, how long the
Hmm.
burn time is. So
Yeah.
what
So
what do you say about that?
our candles are a paraffin soy blend. They're a blend of paraffin and soy designed to maintain that strength of fragrance while still being eco-friendly.
Okay. And like how long would you say you would get out of, you said you had with the big one you would get you say about 50 hours.
Yeah, 35 to 50 hours for our 3 wicks. For our 4 ounce tins, those can last like 14, 15 to 24 hours.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Wonderful. Wow. I think you have, I'm looking forward to coming by and having this experience. Family, we've been talking to Black Luxe Candle. We have a wonderful power couple here. They have gone through a very interesting journey together, um, and have built a very nice company. You know, showing what can happen when you believe in yourself, when you believe in what you're doing, when you have someone that's working with you and supportive of you, and you're taking the skills that you do have to try to make it work. And so I say kudos to both of you guys, Black Lux Candle. And what is your address again?
1252 North Milwaukee Avenue.
And what are
We're in
your
Chicago.
hours?
Our hours, well, we're open Thursdays through Sundays. Thursdays we're open 12 to 6. Friday and Saturdays we're open 12 to 8, and Sundays we're open 12 to 6. Now, if we have a 6 o'clock class or an 8 o'clock class, we actually stay open through the duration of that class too. So
Okay.
oftentimes
Okay.
we're open like a couple hours past that actual time it says so, just because we have classes going on that time.
Okay. And one other question, do you take, like, if somebody had a group that they wanted to bring in for a candle making class, do you take groups, like that?
Yeah, you can book online. You can book however many seats you're trying to book. Let's say you want to do a Friday afternoon at 3 p.m. You just go to the website, select the date, select the time, pick the number of seats you're trying to book, and you're all set to go. You just make your payment and you're good.
You can
Oh,
mention how we're doing.
also, we're BYOB too.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Brittany, you have one last word?
Oh, I was just telling him that we also offer mobile candle making classes as well, so we can bring the experience to you.
Hmm. That is
Oh,
an option
okay.
also.
Okay. So that could be an event at someone's home. They have a candle making class. And you have
Hmm.
an event coming up. Is that for Valentine's that I saw on your website?
Uh,
What was that I saw on your website? I opened up. You have some
that
event coming up.
is that is our Galentine's Day
There you go.
paint, sip, and diffuser making class. So this is a specialized class. We have special classes from time to time. Usually, like every couple months or so, we'll have a special class. And this one is for Galentine's Day. It's for the ladies, so it's gonna be a little ladies' night experience. It's gonna be paint and sip. It's gonna have a little tequila. Gonna have some mimosas. Gonna be doing some painting. It's gonna be a live model. So, like I said, it's for the ladies. So just think about what that might mean. All right. And it's gonna be snacks as well to enjoy. Yes.
Absolutely. Wow. Well, congratulations to the two of you. Thank you for coming on our show. And we're wishing you much success here at Repair, Restore, and Grow Black Communities.
Thank you so much for
Thank
having us.
you.
Absolutely. All right, family. Remember, support Black businesses. That's very important. That's one thing that we could do. I have one more question I want to ask you. We bring up the question of reparations often.
Hmm.
How do you think reparations could help your business if Black people were to get reparations?
How could reparations help Black Lux? Well, one of the things about reparations is the fact that it'll only be effective if people understand how to handle finance. Otherwise, you'll just be giving them the money and they'll be putting it right back into the system that it came from in the first place. So one way that we'd be able to utilize reparations to help Black Lux is that not only are we a business that goes into like the candle making experience, but we also go into the real estate aspect of things too. So one thing reparations could do is help us expand on that, and it'll give us an opportunity to dig deeper into real estate to create generational wealth for future generations to come.
Okay. Well, I think you guys can be an inspiration to a lot of other business owners. So I think you should think about that as well. Okay.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Absolutely.
Okay, family. Support Black Luxe Candles, support Black businesses, and you have a good night.
You do the same.
Thank you.